Yo, sometimes life calls for a change. Not fake, just different. It'll show you a different way. And right now, I'm on to my different way. I can promise you this is the same Spann, but the reporting is over. I'd like to welcome you to the Mr. Spann official podcast. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Spann official podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 23 of this show. And yo, man, it's been a couple weeks since the last time I talked to y'all, man. There's been a whole lot of shit going down in the world, and we're going to talk a little bit about all of that stuff, man. But of course, before we do that, I do have to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mr. Spann official podcast and let your voice be heard, man. You can go ahead and hit us up at our hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages, and of course those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. And if you're watching us here live on Facebook and or YouTube, you can chop it up with us while we're doing the show via the hotline, man. So that's area code 313-288-0485. You can also leave us an email at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails, and of course those emails we get right here and reply to here live as well. You know what? Show note. The emails have been fucking up. The emails have been fucking up. So for those of you who would typically leave an email, you could probably just like leave a comment on the YouTube videos. Those comments they don't have the character limit that they do on Spotify. So if you wanted to leave us a comment, right now, like I said, the emails are screwing up. So if you want to leave us those comments, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can subscribe to the show via the YouTube channel and go to that episode and leave a comment there. And of course, we'll read those comments here and reply to those comments here live on the show. Also, man, follow me on Threads, Instagram. Yeah, Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow your man Spann. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. I pretty much retired my damn Twitter, man. I've retired the Twitter. That's a done deal now. Yeah, man. So we'll talk a little bit about that sometime later in the show. But yeah, I'm not really much on Twitter much now anymore, man. Threads have really... I've really gotten attached to Threads right now. So that's where I'm at, man. If you want to chop it up with me throughout the week on it's on Threads and Instagram, right? Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Spotify, man. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live in the show. We really do appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann official podcast and the Spann Report podcast network in its entirety, right? Also, go to our website, www.thespannreport.com. You can go there. You can watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls when we decide to put those polls up. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And, of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network and the Mr. Spann Official Podcast specifically, right? So, yeah, man, that is all. We got all the business out of the way. Y'all got all these different ways to contact the show to let your voice be heard, man. And we appreciate everybody who does that, man, real talk, because this doesn't have to be a monologue. This can be a discussion, man. This can be a discussion. So, yeah, man, like I said, it's been a couple weeks since the last time I talked to y'all, man. I've been, working and whatnot, dealing with, some folks, man. We had a very difficult customer this week, man. I just got to say, man, I'm always enamored with even the people that seem to have a lot. There are always still some folks who have a lot who are also looking for some more free shit. And yeah, we had a customer like that earlier this week, man. I'm not going to like put his business out there. I'm just saying that my man was like, he was looking for a bunch of free shit, and we wasn't about to give him a bunch of free shit. It just wasn't going to happen, B. Not on my clock, not on my dime, nigga. But yeah, man. It's close to Thanksgiving, y'all. It's close to Thanksgiving, so I know a lot of y'all are planning to do some traveling, man. I hope you guys are safe during your travels and whatnot, man. I hope that you get around family, and you're surrounded by love and all of that shit, man. Also, I hope the plates are looking good, man. I see sometimes, we see the struggle plates every now and again. I actually saw somebody talk about, they need to, matter of fact, I know I'm shouting you out here right now, man. My man Daz, man. My man Daz got on the Facebook streets, man, and he had the audacity, the unmitigated gall, man, to suggest that we should replace turkey with brisket as a Thanksgiving entree, man.
That'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
A monkey's bare-assed uncle, because I'm saying, here's the thing, right? Every now and again, you will run into some folks who, they say they don't like turkey, and I don't knock folks who say they don't like turkey, man. I mean, everybody's got their own taste, right? Everybody likes something different. But, you can kind of tell sometimes the critiques of the turkey just is more so based on how the turkey was prepared. You know what I'm saying? Like if your family can't prepare the turkey correctly, man, you need to just come out and say that and stop saying that the turkey is a nasty bird, man. Because I'll eat every part of that motherfucker, man. Give me a turkey neck, nigga. Give me a turkey wang, nigga. Give me a turkey leg, nigga. Give me a turkey breast, nigga. I will fuck a turkey up. Nigga, like straight up. Get some good dressing, nigga, with some greens and some candy yams, nigga. And you get the little juices from the candy yams, nigga. I love this time of year, man. If for nothing else, then the fucking meal. I love this shit. The leftovers and whatnot, nigga. I will fuck it up. Real talk, man. Like, and it's only like we only get this shit like these meals. We typically only get these meals, these particular type of meals, especially in the black households. We get these meals on Easter, where you substitute the turkey for the ham. Right? Get to Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving, right? Now, very seldom do people be eating turkey and dressing in the summer and whatnot. I mean, I don't know why we got a thing against it, but I'm just saying, man, I'm all about that turkey. Y'all, I mean, I like brisket. Don't get me wrong. I like brisket, but like there's something about the tradition of having the turkey that's just basted just right, that's just deep fried just right, or that's just baked just right, man. Like, turkey it's a delicious bird, man. I can't co-sign the whole shit about y'all talking about we need to get rid of the turkey as an entree for the Thanksgiving, man. I can't rock with y'all on that one. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Right? So yeah, man. That being said, I do hope if I don't talk to y'all before Thanksgiving that y'all really do travel safely and get with your family, have a wonderful time, and enjoy those meals. Right now, that being said, we got a lot of stuff to kind of get into tonight, man. Like I said, it's been a couple weeks since the last time I talked to y'all, and I got about 9 to 10 different stories that we gonna go through. Right? I got 9 to 10 stories that we gonna go through. Like, we got some shit going on with Apple. We got some shit going on with the United States Senate. We got some shit going on with Andre 3000. We got some shit going on with the University of Michigan's football team. Hence the the blue shirt that I got on, because I am not objective about this shit, and y'all gonna hear what I got to say about this shit. We got this black mama who was going off on young black girls about what they should expect on first dates. We got a lot of shit to get into, man. So I mean, while I'm running my mouth talking about all the shit we got to get into, let me just go ahead and get into the shit, right? Let's go ahead and get into it. So yeah, our first story, man, we got this this first story here. This comes out of, let me pull this up here though. Let's see. Yeah. We got our first story here. This comes out of CNN Business, all right? Now, Apple is the company that you guys know who makes the iPhone, the iPad, the iMac, all these different Apple branded products, the Apple Watch, the AirPods and stuff like that. Apple has decided that they are going to get off their ass and join the rest of the world and add RCS messaging to iMessage. Yeah, man, they're going to finally do it. And it's about goddamn time. It's about damn time. So we're going to read a little bit of this story here. This comes out of CNN.com or CNN Business. And it says, the long-standing battle over the iOS blue bubble and Android's green text bubbles will soon take more of a friendly turn. Apple announced on Thursday plans to adopt a messaging standard that will finally bring iMessage features to Android users, eroding what some consider the element of Apple's walled garden. Okay, so off top, I got a problem with how they worded this, right? Off top, I got a problem with how they worded this. They said Apple announced the changes on Thursday, plans to adopt messaging standard that will finally bring iMessage features to Android users. Listen, niggas. Listen. We already had this shit. Apple ain't bringing nothing to Android users at all. Okay, they not bringing us shit, nigga. They not bringing us a motherfucking thing like that. They just not. What they are doing is they are joining the rest of the fucking world as to how messaging is happening. Right? SMS messaging, MMS messaging is a dated technology. And this is why when you decide if you have an Apple phone, if you have an Android, I'm sorry, if you have an iPhone and you want to send a video to a person who has an Android phone via text messaging or MMS messaging. The reason why it looks like shit is because Apple reverts to MMS, which compresses the videos to nothing, which is why the videos look like shit by the time it gets to that other person's phone. Same thing with the pictures. They compress it to shit and then they send that out because the SMS and MMS is old and it's dated technology. And so one of the reasons why Apple kept not using RCS was because they knew that was one of the things that kind of kept a lot of lock-in for people to buy iPhones, right? As a matter of fact, I remember it was only like maybe a year ago, there was a tech journalist who was at an Apple event, and he said that, like, listen, man, I be wanting to send my mother videos and pictures, but, you know, she has an Android phone, and it's hard for her to receive this stuff because the quality goes down by the time she gets it. And you know what Tim Cook told this motherfucker? You need to buy your mama an Android phone. I mean, an Apple phone. And so this has been a thing for a while, only because Apple has made it a thing for a while. And I know, like, you know, y'all know your boy Spann is an Android guy. I've been Android from the beginning. I had the first fucking Android phone. I had the G1. I've been Android from day one, okay? I had the G1 phone on T-Mobile. The thing is, and Apple has done this thing where they have pretty much established their brand as a luxury brand, right? And you have people who genuinely believe that the reason why people have Android phones is because they can't afford iPhones. And I say this as a nigga who hey man, this phone right here, I got a Google Pixel Fold, right? Google Pixel Fold. This boy got, like, you know, it's got a regular screen on it and shit, and then I can fold this bitch out. It's got like another 7.6-inch screen on the inside, right? This phone was $1,800, right? It isn't that Android people can't afford fucking phones, man. Like, y'all need to come off of that. The other part about it is this, right? And I never forget this, and this is part of the reason why, like, I know there's this thing with young folks where I remember when my daughter was younger. She was probably about 10, 11 years old, right? And at the time, I was trying to instill in my daughter the idea. I'm like, yo, baby, you got to be a leader. You got to think for yourself. You can't necessarily follow the crowd about everything, right? Sometimes you got to stand on what you believe in. If you think something is cool, then damn it is cool, right? And I could say that at the time as, like, a father who's like 30 something years old, and he wants his child to, like, you know, have her own mind and blaze her own path and all these other things, right? But I'll never forget this, because at the time my baby had an Android phone. I forget the brand at the time, but she had an Android phone, and I can remember her asking me for her birthday, could I get her an iPhone, right? And I was like, what's wrong with your phone, baby? Like, your phone works pretty damn good. Like, you can message, you could do all this stuff the iPhone can do off of your phone. I didn't get it, right? I didn't get it. But my baby was coming to me like, Daddy, can you just give me an iPhone? Can you give me an iPhone? And, you know, at the time, I'm still like, but your shit is better than that iPhone, right? And I'll never forget this. We were at Dave & Buster's for her birthday, and she was at a table with all her little girlfriends. And that's when it clicked for me. All her little girlfriends had iPhones, right? And she was feeling as though she was being left out because her little girlfriends was bullying her about the fact that her messages were turning up green in the group chat, and they would break the group chat again because Apple purposefully did this, right? And so they would leave her out of stuff, and so my baby was feeling left out. Now, I can talk all the shit I want about being a leader and standing on your own and everything else. As a 30-something-year-old person, yeah, that resonates with me. It's hard to get that to resonate with a kid that's like 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. They just want to be a part of the crowd. They want to be a part of their group. They want to be in their tribe. And so I relented, and I got my baby an iPhone. She's been an iPhone user ever since, right? But the reason why Apple for the longest time has resisted the idea of using RCS or any sort of like other text messaging protocol has been because they knew that if they didn't, then people would sometimes, not even just the bullying, but they would just like, well, fuck it, I just go get an iPhone because everybody else got an iPhone. And just about, I think they said like 8 and 10 teenagers, young people tend to use iPhones, right? And, you know, even now, I send iMessages on my Android phone. I've been using an app called Beeper for the better part of the last year now. I've been able to send iMessages from my phone for the better part of the last year. I remember I trolled my daughter a little bit because I text messaged her from my, you know, from the app, and she was like, "Daddy, you got an iPhone?" And I'm like, "Come on, baby, you know better." Right? Come on, baby, you know better. But yeah, man. So Apple has finally decided to jump on this protocol. And so going forward, one would think that like, yo, so now you can send higher quality videos, you can send higher quality pictures, you will get your read receipts, you will get the notifications that somebody is responding to you with the three dots and everything else. All this stuff was already on Android. It's now coming to you to have Apple. And, you know, whenever you text somebody who has an Android phone, all of those things that you were complaining about, it fixes it for y'all. Right? It fixes it for y'all. We already had this shit. And the other part about this is like I've been on threads and stuff like that, and to see people be upset that Apple is doing this is like, bro, like why would you be upset that they are making it available for you to communicate better with people who don't have the same phone as you? Unless, of course, you thought that you having this phone was a status thing. And, you know, there's that. But yeah, man, Apple has finally decided to join the rest of the world, get on the RCS tip. I mean, they finally got the USB-C for the iPhone, only because Europe was making them do it, though. Only because Europe was making them do it. But they finally have gotten off the bullshit. And now, you know, starting next year, hopefully we can stop talking about this blue bubble, green bubble shit, you know, especially if they all doing essentially the same goddamn thing, man, right? Right? Bottom line, I hope your phone is working for you. Real talk. I hope your phone is working for you. That's all I got to say about that. All right. Well, let's move on to another topic, man. Let's move on to another. We got another thing going on, right? So I came across this story here, man, and I'm actually a little bit shocked that this is actually a thing, right? So this man won the lottery. He won the lottery for $1.35 billion fucking dollars, man. Just crazy amount of money, right? Now, he won this money last year, and he wanted to keep it a secret. Unfortunately for him, his kid's mom told his family, and now he's suing her for telling his goddamn family.
I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Yeah, man. We get the story here. This comes out of Yahoo News. It says the winner of a massive $1.35 billion lottery prize is seeking damages from the mother of his child, who he says revealed the win to his family, court filing show. The man, named only as John Doe in the lawsuit, beat stupendous odds to win the Mega Millions prize in the Maine State Lottery in January. As the fourth largest lottery in the U.S. history, the jackpot caused a major stir. After taxes and the lump sum prize from a ticket bought at a Maine gas station amounted to just under $500 million. God damn, man. Hey, man. Hey. Just. Why do they get so much? How the fuck? I'm sorry, man. That's a lot of fucking money to like give up. Even like you won this money, right? You won $1.35 billion, right? And they take like $7 million. The government takes $700 million before you see a dime of it. And I hear y'all, man. Y'all be like, yo, man, but that nigga, you still got a $500 million. That's $500 million more than you had before. Like, but I would like more of the money that I actually fucking won, man. Pardon me for being greedy, right? Pardon me for wanting what's supposed to be mine. Why do they get so much? I don't get that, man. That's a lot of fucking. Did you get you get less than half of what you won? That's crazy to me. That is fucking crazy to me. Anyway, finish reading this story. The winner sought to keep his anonymity from the outset. According to court documents filed on Tuesday and seen by Insider, it appears that his win was even kept secret from most of his family. I ain't even gonna knock you, player. I get it. I get it. Trust me, I get it. The documents show he sought to protect his anonymity with a non-disclosure agreement between him and the mother of his child back in February. The lawsuit says that the woman named as Sarah Smith signed an NDA saying that she must keep the jackpot secret until June 1st, 2032, when their daughter comes of age. Business Insider was unable to contact the mother. The plaintiff's lawyer declined to comment to the Daily Beast, which first reported this story. If the mother did, by accident or deliberately, spill the beans before that point, she'd have to tell him within 24 hours. But according to the lawsuit, the woman then told his family anyway. It says she got on the phone and told his father and stepmother, which soon led to several other people, including his sister, finding out, nigga, you got $500 million and you ain't told us? What the fuck, nigga? You know I'm over here struggling, nigga. My mortgage is due, nigga. My car note is late, nigga. I need some help with this light bill. Hey, you know your brother wants some, he need a horse. Your brother need a horse, you know, because he trying to do this equestrian course or whatever, so he gonna need a horse. And you been over here holding out, cuz? Like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? This is exactly why this motherfucker wanted to be anonymous, right? But it says the plaintiff is now asking her to reveal exactly who else she told, with a penalty of at least $100,000 for each time she broke the NDA.
What the fuck, y'all? God damn! God damn! God damn!
What?
Fuck! Fuck!
That's how he had to have been when he found out that she been out here telling everybody he won that goddamn money. Said this is lottery winners are frequently advised to stay anonymous and to set up elaborate protections to keep word from getting out. A surprising minority keep the information even from their nearest and dearest. Andy Carter, who works as an advisor for winners in the UK's National Lottery, told Business Insider that some winners, particularly if they have marital problems, even keep it from their spouses. But that anonymity is difficult to maintain for really big winners. If you won 1 million, it's easier to hide than 100 million, he said. So, yeah, man, I mean, I guess I can ask you guys, man, like, first of all, did you even know that you could sue somebody for telling this shit, right? Because I didn't even know that was something that you could do. Like, yo, you can keep it a secret. Like, hey, and like, but if you tell somebody, you gonna owe me some money. Like the lottery winner, the motherfucker that got the most money is gonna be coming to your ass for some more money if you tell anybody he won this money. Like, I didn't even know you could do that, but now I know. So in the event that I win this money, I'm making motherfuckers whoever find out that I won some money sign these goddamn NDAs, because y'all ain't gonna be telling my shit. You know what I'm saying? Pocket watching is a goddamn disease and people own it. So yeah. But the other part about this, man, would you, like, if this was your kid's mom, man, would you go so far as to like sue her for letting people know that you won this money? Now I get, there's some things that like security wise, right? Like, you know, I know some people who have come into a large sum of money, like you're worried about somebody coming after you because they're like, yo, man, this is a payday. I can do something to somebody in a family, like demand a ransom, or I can blackmail them into giving me some money and extort their asses. You know, I get why you would want to keep that a secret, or not only just that, not even just something as nefarious as those things, but the idea that like, yo, man, I don't want all these family members that I don't fucking know somehow reaching out to me saying, hey, could I help them with this thing that they normally wouldn't even imagine asking anybody for help with. Right? Like, I don't know you. I haven't heard from you in 25 years. Suddenly I need to help you with your goddamn car note. Like, that's crazy. Right? So I get why people want to keep the anonymity. The thing is, I didn't know that you could actually sue a motherfucker for telling that you had the money, though. I didn't know that was a thing. So I didn't know that. But the question I got for the audience is, would you actually go through those means, though? Would you go through the whole process of saying, hey, man, I'm going to sue your ass if you tell anybody. I will sue you into oblivion if you tell anybody I got this money, right? So, yeah, man, that's that was something that happened, and that was in the news, right? So, another story that we got here.
All right, y'all, so...
Hold on a second. So, Roland Martin is, like, really loud. But, yeah, man, I got this video. I was trying to find this video from someone other than Roland Martin, but he was the only one that seemed to have had it available in a shareable way. So this next story that we got here has to deal with a mom, right? And we've been seeing these videos all over social media about what people are to expect on first dates, right? We saw the sister who was mad about the dude that took her to the Cheesecake Factory. We saw another video with the young lady with the 48 oysters. And we saw another young lady talk about a nigga need to cut her steak when they go out and all these other things, right? So we've been seeing a lot. We've been getting inundated with a lot of these different types of videos when it comes to dating and everything else, right? And so there was this one particular video that went semi-viral, where there was this young man and his mom on the video. And essentially, this young man's mom was going off on all young ladies about what they are expecting on first dates. All right. So I'm going to pull this video up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Hold on just a second while I do this. Let's do boom and boom. Let me pull that up so you guys can see. And we're going to maximize that to the fullest of the full. And let's see what they talk. Let's see what this young lady is talking about.
And him about the first restaurant he gonna take you to. What's the last restaurant your daddy took you to? Because you shouldn't be coming to him to be your daddy. That's not his role. It's a first date. I want y'all to bring that down to level 3. Y'all way on 10 with this foolishness and want to embarrass somebody. My second question is, have you ever been anywhere? Where do you take yourself? Let me see your checkbook registry. Let me log into your bank account and see what you feed yourself on a regular basis. Where do you take yourself for lunch or dinner? That's the next question I want you to answer. And then the third thing about this, come on back over here because I need you to understand what time it is.
Hey, youngin be like, yo, mama going the fuck off. I don't even want to be a part of this. I don't want no parts of this. Mama going the fuck off, and I don't even want no parts of this. But, it's my mama, so I got to stay here.
A real lady is going to be there for the purpose of what it's for. She's not looking for food because she's hungry that she can't afford so she can take it to go and get a doggy bag. I'm going to wrap this up to go. Why? You ain't going to have food tomorrow? That's a poverty mindset. So a first date, again, is to get to know the person, to hang out, have fun. Y'all should be laughing and talking. It don't need to be a steakhouse. We don't even know if you worth a steak. You might just be worth a piece of bread. So ladies, young ladies, grow up. Get some maturity about yourself. Y'all buying titties, lashes, booties, and everything else. And you want somebody else to feed you. Save your money. Stop buying your body. And
Well, first of all, I mean, just like real talk, just
God damn!
mama going the fuck off, man. Like just going the fuck. Y'all buying booties and buying titties and shit like that, but they can't buy meals. Like mama is going the fuck off right now.
put it to the side so you can have some food. That's not a man's responsibility. Now, once you dating a man, and once he get to know you, and y'all vibing, and he want to take you to a nice restaurant, guess what that means? You well deserving of that. He think enough about you to make a reservation. But some of you don't have reservations about your mouth. You talk bad, you disrespectful, you ghetto, you trifling, you don't have an income that substantiates what you want this man to do.
God damn.
You don't reserve being lazy. You full out lazy. You have no reservations on that. But you want the men to make a reservation for a restaurant, but you don't reserve what's between your legs. You passing it out like candy. You rated E for everybody.
Oh my God.
Just
God damn!
rated E for everybody, mama. Like that, like, oh. Yeah, man. So, listen, I don't know if that particular video was spawned by something that happened between her son and another young lady, and he came back and he told his mama that the date didn't go well, or if this is just a response to what she sees on social media, and she wants other people to know that she won't tolerate this for her son. I don't even know what the ramifications or like what even spawned this particular video. I'll just say this. I'm glad I am not dating now, right? I I see that it's not that great out here in these dating streets, man. Like people have certain expectations of people. I think a lot of the expectations that folks have of people is largely shaped by what they see on social media. Um, I think also we are living in a time where people are way too much concerned about the thoughts and opinions of the people who are not even involved in the relationship and the date. Where you know, it becomes our business because everybody tends to like post everything on social media. So I can see why someone would be frustrated. Again, I don't know if that's what this young man even like had to deal with, right? Don't even know if this young man had a really bad experience with a young lady or whatever else. His mother could have probably just seen that video with the old girl with the Cheesecake Factory and the other young lady with the 48 oysters and another young lady with the this nigga need to cut my steak if he wants some of this ass, you know, that sort of shit, right? She may have very well been like, you know, subject to some of those videos. And like now she's like, yo, my son ain't gonna have to deal with y'all with that shit. If y'all looking at him, y'all need to go look for somebody else to go get you a meal, yada, 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 yada. And I feel as though like, you know, some people look at this as though this is an indictment on black women. And I'm sure there's somebody who exists in this way. We've seen examples of it, but let's not make the mistake of trying to paint all our sisters with these brushes, right? In much the same way that we don't want to paint all our brothers with the brush of like the nigga that stands right behind your woman at the cash register because you ain't got no money, or the nigga that like is always in his girlfriend's car with the Delta Sigma Theta like license plate covers on and shit, and she driving a Honda Accord, but she at work and you driving her shit all day at home playing the video games and eating up her kids like fruit snacks and shit. We don't want to paint everybody with these brushes, man. And I think oftentimes what happens is, and this is a social media construct, the most extreme examples tend to be propped up as though those are the norm when oftentimes they ain't. Right? Oftentimes they ain't. And I will play a video like this because yeah, like, you know, there's some comedic shit to it, but at the same time, you're like, all right, yeah, this is also a social media thing. And sometimes like these social media things are a little bit over exaggerated, where I don't know if these people exist in real life. I haven't come across some of these people in real life. I see this all the time on social media because social media has enabled and not only enabled but encouraged and incentivized people being their worst selves, because being our worst selves and it gets us paid, right? How many times do you watch a video of somebody behaving badly and that video is getting shared millions, thousands of times because everybody said, have you seen this shit that this girl said? Did you see this shit that this nigga did? And everybody's sharing it so that they can point at it and be like, these niggas is crazy. These niggas is stupid, right? But you shared it. And while you're sharing it to say, come look at this, that person still gets the benefit of the fact that you shared it, even if you're talking shit about them. They get the benefit of you sharing it, right? You're putting them before more eyes. And so there are so many people now who know that if they get before enough people that they can actually get paid off of doing that, they will continue to do so. That's why your social media feeds are filled with ridiculous shit, because we keep sharing ridiculous shit just so we could talk shit about the people in these videos and in these posts and everything else. I'm guilty of it too. I mean, we talk about these things on the podcast all the time, right? So I'm guilty of it too. I'm not above it, but I'm just saying, I don't know if this situation actually happened to these young men. I hope it hadn't, but like, yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. Mama went the fuck off, right? And hopefully, man, like I said, hopefully that wasn't something he actually when he encountered. Hopefully that was just like, yo, y'all not gonna do my baby like that. You know, one of those sort of things. But yeah. Yeah, man. That's going on, man. That's going on. Let me pull that down. And let's do this here. But another story, man, that we got. Let me do this. We're not sharing this screen anymore. But another thing that we got going on, man. Talk about videos and videos going viral or whatnot. So did you guys hear about this particular gospel singer? Her name is Bobby Storm. There's a gospel singer named Bobby Storm, and she almost got put off of a goddamn flight because apparently her singing was irritating the fuck out of this Delta flight attendant, man. So I'm gonna pull this video up so you guys can watch right along with me here, and let's see what the hell happened between Bobby Storm and this Delta flight attendant. Let me add this to the scene, and let's do this here, and boom, boom. Let's see what they're talking about. We get this story here from Inside Edition, so check this out, y'all.
Gospel singer serenades passengers on a flight.
I keep forgetting I've been through this before.
But the flight attendant isn't having it.
Are you willing and able to be quiet right now?
I'm doing what the Lord is telling me to do.
The drama unfolded on a Delta flight
She said, I'm doing what the Lord is telling me to do. We're going to talk about that a little bit later.
getting ready for takeoff. There was a delay due to a maintenance issue, so the singer says she felt inspired to break out in song.
Are you able to be quiet?
But they're enjoying it. So while we're sitting here, could I please?
I'm not enjoying it, so I'm asking you, can you be quiet?
Am I going to go to jail if I don't?
She says there was good reason for her to sing.
Well, I just found out I'm up for 2 Grammys. My very first time, you guys.
Her name is Bobby Storm, and yes, she is a featured vocalist on the Grammy-nominated gospel album The Maverick Way, although her name is not listed on the Grammy nomination. Grammy nomination or not, the flight attendant believes she's a disruption.
I'm your flight leader. I need you to follow my instruction.
Okay.
My instruction for you to answer my question. Are you able to be quiet?
What do you guys think?
Notably, none of the passengers respond.
If you're not able to follow my instruction, you will not be taking this flight.
Okay.
Are you
that's
able
what I
to
was
be
asking.
quiet?
If that's the case, then that's fine.
The flight attendant walks away, and what happens next? Bobby Storm launches into her number.
Oh, Lord, I try to pretend I can do without you, but I...
The incident is sparking a stormy debate.
He came in kind of hot.
Yeah, you know.
I didn't think he came in hot. I really didn't. I just think when you're asked to follow the instructions, I think you should follow the instructions.
And even if it's
Many call her rude. This is one of the most egotistical things I've ever seen. It's narcissism. Others are showing support. Such grace. Sing away, lady.
All right. Now, here's the thing. I'm not fucking around with the flight attendants, man. I'm trying to get to where the fuck I'm trying to go. That's just me, right? I paid for this ticket. I would hate for me to be put off of a fucking flight or be at risk of not being able to fly on that airline or having an option being taken away from me because I couldn't follow a simple instruction. Like, hey man, could you not do that? Right? Now, here's the thing. I do think that there's a bit of ego attached to this because she's telling these people that like, yo, I'm up for a Grammy. She didn't say like, yo, the Maverick Way is up for a Grammy. She's like, yo, I'm up for a Grammy. Right? So this is my first time being up for a Grammy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and my name is what's her name again? Bobby Storm. Y'all should go check out my Bobby Storm. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's a group that you aren't even credited with, you know, like you're part of, your name isn't even featured, right? These people don't know who you are. And I feel as though like it's a bit much to, even after you were asked to like, you know, could you not do that, to kind of defiantly do it anyway, right? And I don't necessarily like the idea, I don't necessarily like the idea of people using God to justify their bad behavior. I don't. I'm not a fan of it. Don't tell me that you're doing this because you were inspired by God, that God is telling you to do this. God wasn't like, yo, God, was God going to like not keep you from getting put off this flight if you wasn't going to be quiet? What was you going to say to God then? Like, yo, God, you told me to do this and they put me off the flight. Now I can't get home. Is that going to be God's fault then? Right? I think that's the thing that I think a lot of people have issue with when, you know, like with some religious folk, is that like y'all try to use religion to like justify your behavior or to excuse away the things that you are doing that are rude, that are inconveniencing others. I mean, like think about how many different things that people use religion to justify, right? Like you got people who are using their religion to justify banning books. You got people who are using religion to justify a woman not having control of her body. You got people using religion to justify genocide, right? Religion is used to justify a shit ton of things. And so, yeah, you made like congratulations on you being a part of a group that was nominated for a Grammy. Like, congratulations on that. But none of these people were thinking about that when they got on that flight. None of these people even knew who the fuck you were. This was about you making sure that they knew who you were, right? That's how it comes across to me. This is you making sure that these other people knew who you were, despite the fact that nobody was asking you to sing. Nobody was asking you to sing. Nobody asked you if you was up for a Grammy. This is you pushing yourself forward. This is your pride talking right now. Nothing more. It's not God. It's not God telling you to do it. Follow the damn instructions, please, so we can all get to where we're supposed to go. Like, please and thank you, right? But yeah, man, Bobby Storm almost got put off a fucking plane because, God told her that she was supposed to sing to all these folks, despite the fact that, like, yo, she was about to get put off. Like, she might not even been able to get to where she was supposed to get to because, as she said it, God told her that she was supposed to get there. But yeah, we got that going on, man. Now, we got another story here that let me pull this down because we're not sharing this anymore. But we got another story here. Let me go ahead and close this out. And what is this one? This one here. Oh, yeah. So check this out, man. Oh, my nigga. Check this shit out. So we were talking last week about shit, you know what I just remembered? I got listener feedback. I just remember we got listener feedback. So we gonna respond to the listener feedback as soon as I get through this particular story, right? Because it kind of ties in. But yeah, man. So there's this we were talking last week about people knowing how their government works, right? And how how laws get passed, who's responsible for what and everything else. And just this past week, there was a story to come out where there was a United States senator who actually challenged someone who came in front of a Senate panel, challenged this motherfucker to a fight in the middle of the Senate, in the middle of the Senate panel, man, just like straight up. Nigga! Yeah, so let me pull this video up, man, because y'all got to see this. Y'all got to see this. Let me do this here for y'all. I'm going to pull this up so y'all can see this too. And boom, there we go. And boom, here we go again. Let me go ahead and maximize this out. And we're going to watch this, man, because this is actually kind of crazy.
Like he's self-made. Sorry, I wish you...
Okay, so this senator is named Mark Wayne Mullen. He's a senator from Oklahoma. And apparently this nigga he's like a former MMA fighter, right? But he's a sitting senator from the state of Oklahoma, and he's in a committee like panel meeting with a Teamsters union boss, right? And they've had exchanges before. I believe this union boss came before this Senate panel sometime earlier in the summer, and they had a contentious exchange then. And so what Mark Wayne Mullen is reading off right now is some Twitter post that the Teamsters union boss posted on Twitter after that exchange. So that's what he's reading now.
She was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company. Myself and my wife was running the office because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours. Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy. Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
Is that your solution every
Hold it. No, sit down. Sit down. Okay. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay.
Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond? Mr.
Hold
Chairman?
it. Hold it. If we can't, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Okay,
Can I
hold on.
respond?
First things first. Shout out to Bernie Sanders for like, yo, man, you are the United States Senator. What the? And I know in the back of Bernie Sanders' mind, he like, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? No. Real talk, man. What the fuck is wrong? You ain't sitting United States. What the fuck is wrong with you? That being said, Buddy is an MMA fighter. He probably would have whooped the Teamster's ass, right? Let's just keep it a buck. He probably would have whooped the guy's ass. Real talk. He's a trained fighter. He probably would have put that motherfucker in like a chokehold, like he probably would have put him in like a what's that shit? We used to put niggas back in like sleeper hold or figure four or some shit like that. Put him in like some sort of submission hold and put his ass to sleep or something like that. He probably would have did that right there on the damn panel floor, right? But here's the thing, and this is something I like when I was watching this, it reminded me of some shit from back in the day. Like, you ever remember, like, and I'm sure like those of you who have been in like some fights or been like in a situation where you thought you was about to fight, but the nigga that you was about to fight wasn't really about that fight, and he's banking on the fact that somebody's gonna stop said fight, was gonna keep y'all from fighting. That's what that's what I'm thinking this is happening right here, right now, right? Because there's no fucking way in hell that this dude, Mark Wayne Mullen, thought that he was gonna be a sitting United States senator in the middle of a Senate hearing, and they were gonna allow these niggas to start throwing hands. There was no way in hell he thought he was gonna be able to do that, right? All the while, nigga, I'm sitting there. When I first seen this, I'm just like, yo, man. I wanted them niggas to fight. I wanted them niggas to fight, nigga. Like, I know I ain't the only one. Dog. I wanted them niggas to fight, right? But it wasn't gonna happen. We all knew it wasn't gonna happen. Because again, this is a United States Senate panel, bro. Ain't nobody throwing no hands up in there. You knew when nobody gonna allow you to throw no hands up in there. You out here posturing like fuck for social media. Right? Think about this, man. All of this stuff, man, these politicians, there's so many politicians that are like performing right now for social media. It's crazy. They're not actually up there to like pass any laws. They're not actually up there to present any bills that could become a law. They're up there to, create a viral moment and then use that viral moment to fundraise off of, and then they use that viral moment to fundraise and then help that fundraising help them to run for re-election. Meanwhile, their constituents don't get any fucking thing done, right? But they get to say, hey, my senator is a badass. He was going to whoop that Teamster's ass in the middle of the Senate. Meanwhile, those of us with fucking sense, no, that was not going to happen. It had no fucking chance of happening. They were not going to allow that to happen. But this is how like social media has so permeated the culture where like, yo, we even got our politicians who don't even bother trying to actually legislate. They out here playing, like they out here doing culture wars, bro. Hey, I'm going to ban these books, or we're going to talk about banning these books because my voters want these books banned, despite the fact that like this book, there's nothing wrong with this book per se, but my voters don't like this. So we going to virtue signal on this so that we can keep these books out of the, like, our kids from seeing it and all these other different things, right? They are doing all this shit for the social media so that they can fundraise and then run again. Meanwhile, the constituents get nothing done. That's what's happening with our United States, like Congress right now, both the House of Representatives and the Senate, both of them. And that's part of the reason why their approval ratings are so low, because they're not doing shit. They're not doing what the people sent them to do. Right? So yeah, man, I just thought that was funny, man. Like you are an MMA fighter, bro, and you know damn well they weren't gonna let you fight nobody, but you sure as hell picked the time to like, yo, virtual signal so you can, again, like I said, raise funds off of that. Use this viral moment as a way to virtual signal to your constituents, despite the fact that you actually did nothing for them. You did nothing for them. But that's what's going on, man. And that's that was in the news, man. I just thought that shit was a little bit hilarious, man. I thought that shit was a little bit hilarious. Fisticuffs in the United States Senate. Were they really gonna let him fight? Absolutely fucking not. It was not gonna happen. It just wasn't gonna happen, man. Real talk. But we got that going on, man. Real. And let's see what else we got going on in the world, man. Let's see. Let me pull that down and that down. Oh shit, yeah, that's right, man. Shit, yo, man, Andre 3000, y'all. Andre 3000 and dropped another goddamn album. And I say another album. Like, it ain't like Andre 3000 been out here dropping like albums and shit. But Andre 3000 and dropped the album, and he ain't dropping no bars, man. This nigga out here playing the flute. Yeah, man. So the question is, why did Andre 3000 give up the craft? And when we talking about the craft, we talking about the rap craft, right? Because Andre 3000 has gone on, I believe it was a GQ interview, and stated that at his age, he doesn't feel as though he has anything to really rap about, man. Nigga! Yeah, and some people disagree with him, but we're gonna listen. We're gonna read a little bit of this article, and then we're gonna play a little bit of this video. As a matter of fact, let me do this here so I can make sure that I have this queued up so you guys can see it here in a second. But yeah, I'm going to read a little bit of this from TMZ. It says, Andre 3000 is coming clean about his decision to walk away from Outkast at the peak of their success, saying he simply lost his drive to rap. In a video interview with GQ to promote his upcoming instrumental album, Andre not only admitted his creative juices for the group had dried up, but said he hasn't been harboring a boatload of unreleased raps like everyone accuses him of. And let's see. Okay, so yeah, let me pull this up so you guys can see here. Boom. Let's see what Andre's talking about, though. We get this from TikTok.
Do you feel like that played into decisions he made about Outkast, too?
I think just in general, when it came to figuring out what we would do creatively and where my creative juice is coming from within Outkast, like there was a certain point where I just didn't know where else to go. You know, I didn't, like even now, like, people think, oh man, he's just sitting on raps, or like he's just holding these raps hostage. Like, I ain't got no raps like that. Like it actually feels, sometimes it feels inauthentic for me to rap because I don't have anything to talk about in that way. Like, I'm 48 years old, and not to say that age is a thing that dictates what you rap about, but in a way it does. And like, the things that happen in my life, like, what do you talk, like I gotta go get a colonoscopy, like what do you like, what do you rap about? You know what I mean? Like my eyesight is going bad. Like,
all right. So yeah, essentially Andre 3000 is saying he doesn't have anything to rap about, right? And no, yo, I've seen people say that, like, yo, they disagree with Andre 3000 about this. And they point to examples like Jay-Z coming out with the 444 album, when he's talking about his life and some of the things that have happened in his life, and you know, not like his thing with therapy and like the trials and tribulations that he's going through in his marriage between him and Beyonce, like finding out that his mom was gay and that like she really wanted to be like with a woman, and like coming to terms with that. Like those were the things that Jay-Z had been like, you know, coming to grips with. And then you have other examples of Nas, who, you know, I haven't really even delved into like some of the last 3 or 4 albums that Nas has come out with, but like people are saying like, yo, this is some of Nas's best work, and he's come out with this work in his late 40s, early 50s, right? And so like, so they say that to say that like, it's not as though he couldn't rap about, you know, his life at 48. It's just that like, basically they're saying like, yo, man, that's bullshit. You can rap about some stuff, right? But I think there's something to be said about actually feeling as though you have something to say, right? Feeling like you have something to contribute to the discourse, to the culture, to the art. And if the artist is feeling like they are not in the space to create, to contribute, to put that out into the world, you got to trust that artist and believe them, right? You got to kind of trust them and believe that, like, yo, man, I'm not in the right headspace. I'm not in the right frame of mind to really get out here and put this stuff out, especially in the way that y'all used to seeing me do it. Because as the artist, I know what space I'm in when I'm putting this out here for y'all to consume. I'm not there. And if I'm not there, if I just put some shit out for the sake of putting the shit out, and it's not what y'all think it should be, now y'all coming at me saying like I'm whack because I just put some shit out. So there's a standard that the artist has of themselves, and then there's the standard that the listener have of what the artist puts out, right? I was having a conversation with my partner, my man Cliff, man. Shout out to my boy. I was having a conversation with him a little like earlier today, man. We were talking about some stuff, and we were talking about. I was telling him, like there are times, man, and I've had this conversation with other podcasters and stuff too. There are times where like I could put out an episode of the podcast, and as the person who was producing the podcast, be like, man, there was a point that I wanted to make there that I didn't make. I forgot this thing that I want to talk about there. I wasn't really feeling like I was in my bag. I wasn't really feeling like I was in my mode when I was doing this particular episode, right? And that's just me as the creative, not even so much as the creative, but the thinker, like everything that I want to put out about the show. These are the things that I'm thinking about, and like I didn't hit this or I didn't do this, and these were the things that I wanted to do, but I missed on these things, right? And some of those, like there are times where I put out episodes where I had that feeling where I did this thing, I put this episode out, but I know in my head I'm thinking like that wasn't what, it could have been better, right? And then I've had listeners hit me back like, yo, man, Spann, I really appreciate your thoughts on this. Or Spann, man, like, yo, you really humanized this for me. Or I haven't even thought about it in this way. Right? They're not even they don't know anything about how I was thinking about it when I was putting this out. They're not thinking about that. All they know is they liked what I said at this particular point in time, or they can relate to what I said at that time, despite the fact that there might have been some things I left out that I didn't mean to, but I left out some stuff. But they appreciated what I did put out. And so I think oftentimes as fans, what we do with the artists is like, yo, we want you to put this stuff out. And even though you may not necessarily feel good about it, we just simply want this from you because we enjoy what we get from you, right? And to an artist or to a creative, they're thinking like, I have a certain thing that I want to put out, and if it's not meeting that level of what I believe it should be, then y'all not gonna see it. Because most of your artists and your creators are sensitive about their shit, right? So like it's this thing where I can understand where Andre is like, yo, man, I'm 48 years old. Like some of the things that y'all think I'm sitting on this mountain of raps, and I'm not. Y'all think I got I appreciate the fact that y'all love how I get down on the mic, but at the same time, I'm not there anymore. I'm on this flute shit. This is where I got my energy. This is where my creative juices are flowing right now. And I need y'all to get behind this because this is where I'm at, right? If you love me and you love my art, trust me in consuming this, right? Now, I haven't exactly listened to this latest Andre 3000 album yet. I have yet to listen to it. I don't know why. In my head, I have this idea that I have this idea in my head that it's going to sound something like a DJ Quick's Groove, right? For those of you who are like old enough to listen to like a DJ Quick album, DJ Quick he would usually have like an instrumental cut on the album, and it was like some jazzy shit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking like, yo, maybe Andre 3000 is going to bless us with some like a whole album or some shit like that, right? Now, again, I haven't listened to the album. I don't know what it sounds like. I'm going to eventually listen to it. I don't need you niggas to, like right up here. I don't need y'all to tell me what it is. I'm going to find out for myself. right? Because I'm an Andre 3000 fan. But it's been interesting to watch how people have received this album because, again, this isn't what they are used to. This isn't what they are used to consuming from Andre 3000. And essentially, as an artist, what I see Andre 3000 trying to do is just like, yo, man, I really need y'all to embrace this other thing that I'm on right now, right? Y'all went with me with like the whole, like, what was it? Was it The Love Below? Like, y'all went with me with that, right? Y'all trust me on this, because at first people didn't get it, and then they got it. And I think what he's saying right now is like, I need y'all to get with me on this because I'm on to something with this. Y'all might not necessarily get it right now, but y'all gonna get it later. And I kind of feel like that's what he's really trying to like mold people into thinking, into believing. It's like, hey man, this is what I'm on. I need y'all to get behind me on this. So yeah, man, Andre 3000 dropped a new album. And it's an instrumental album, and like I said, I'm gonna give it a listen. You know what I'm saying? Because I haven't had a chance to take a listen to it yet. But this is the idea that I got in my head, is that it is it's like a DJ Quick album full of DJ Quick instrumentals and shit. I mean, I'm sure it's probably not, but you know what I'm saying? Let me find out for myself though, because you know niggas love spoiling stuff, right? But we got that going on. Now I know I said that let's see, let me pull this down because I forgot to let's stop sharing that. Let me close that. But I forgot to do this here. But we had some listener feedback, right? And so let me pull up the listener feedback because I got a couple comments on the last episode of the Mr. Spann Official podcast, and I need to pull that up so we can respond to that, man. Because I don't want y'all to feel like y'all words don't count. Like I said, this is it doesn't have to be a monologue. This has to be a discussion. So let me pull this up. Let's see. All right, so. That was episode 22. All right. So we got a couple comments here. And our first comment here, this comes from the homie Aaron. Aaron writes in to say, I left a comment on Spotify, but that character limit ain't shit. All right. He says, I understand your feelings regarding DoorDash asking people to tip more, and we agree that they need to pay more. I get why you would prefer to pay cash for your tip, but as a driver, people will have you drive far as hell and not have you and not leave you any tip. As a driver, when we get an offer, it shows us the base plus the tip, and the distance of the restaurant and the delivery. Most drivers judge the desirability of an order based on the dollar amount per mile. I honestly wish I could trust people enough to take a non-tipping order knowing that there's a cash tip waiting, but most of the time there isn't. Sometimes deliveries can take up to half an hour based on restaurant wait and wait time and the traffic, so it's a big risk hoping somebody does the right thing. Dude in the video was a jackass though. Just say thank you and say your slick shit in the car. Looking forward to hearing your response. So first things first, man, thank you for your service. Aaron, real talk, man. Anybody who's doing the DoorDash or the Uber Eats or like you're delivering the food, man, thank y'all for y'all service, man. Real talk, because y'all are doing the work that people just they don't feel like doing for themselves. Okay, so let me get that out the way. The other thing too, I think like most people don't necessarily have the beef that most people have with the tipping beforehand, right? Is that we are conditioned with the idea that you tip based upon the service received, right? That you tip based upon the service received. The idea of tipping before the service has been rendered is a little bit anathema to a lot of folk, right? Like, yo, I'm tipping you before you do any motherfucking thing, right? And so for DoorDash to come out and say, hey, if you don't tip, chances are your food is going to get to you cold. It's a thing of like, well, wait a minute, goddammit. Y'all are already, and we broke this down the last time we talked, but y'all are already charging me more than this restaurant charges for this particular food item. Then if I don't subscribe to the DoorDash or I think it's DoorDash, Dash Plus or whatever the fuck, or Uber One or something. If I don't subscribe to this, you charge me for the delivery. And then you're saying like, I need to pay this this person the tip. Now, mind you, I don't have a problem tipping. What I do have a problem with is paying more for the food than it's actually fucking costing me from the actual restaurant. Right? And if you gonna charge more than the actual restaurant for their food, then damn it, some of that charge should be going towards your drivers, and you should be paying your drivers more, and not necessarily throwing that on the back of the customers who are saying, hey man, I like this service, I would like to use this service, but also tipping before I actually receive said service is a little bit like, I don't know about that. Right? Y'all ain't did shit for me yet. I ain't got my food yet. And if I get my food cold, guess what? I might want to readjust what my tip is. Right? So I have no qualms at all about tipping people for performing services, man. Like, I try to tip well anytime I go out to go eat, or if I remember the first time I even became aware of the fact that delivery drivers weren't being compensated in a way that they should be. Right? This is a long time ago. I had ordered some food. It was like a local delivery, like pizza spot here in Detroit, man. And I ordered food, and the delivery driver was like, yo, hit me up. And he was like, as I was getting my food, he was like, yo, man, you're not going to tip? Right? And at the time, I was unaware that the delivery driver did not get the delivery fee when they brought me my food. I'm thinking that the delivery fee went to the driver. No. The delivery fee did not go to the driver. It went to the restaurant. So at the time, I wasn't prepared to tip my mans, right? I just wasn't. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, bro. I didn't know that. Right? I did not know that. I'm thinking that the delivery fee goes to you, and that was the tip, right? Did not know that the restaurants were pocketing the money that was like the delivery fee, and then I was supposed to tip the driver. I'm thinking that the delivery fee was the shit that goes to the driver, and it did not. In much the same way that DoorDash not only charges you more for the food that you ordering, but also they are going to charge you a delivery fee for bringing the shit to you, and then they don't share that cost with the driver who actually brings the food to you. So I think what happens is customers tend to resent the drivers because they're like, yo, man, I would like to pay you more money in a tip where I can make sure that the money actually gets to you. But if you don't bring me my food in a reasonable hour, or if nobody picks my shit up and I get my shit cold, now I'm pissed and ain't nobody getting nothing outside of maybe the restaurant and DoorDash, and it fucks the drivers. So like I said, I appreciate what y'all do, man. Real talk. I use like Uber Eats. I despite the fact that like I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of it, I use services like Uber Eats and stuff because like there are times I'm like, yo, man, I just got home. I'm just getting off of work. I'm gonna order something on my way home from work. That way it'll be home when I get home from work, right? That sort of thing. But that's the disconnect between the drivers, the delivery drivers, and the customer, and it's the greed of the company when it's like, yo, man, not only are y'all charging more for this shit, but then y'all charging a delivery fee, and the driver doesn't get any of that. And then on top of that, you want the customer to pay more in a tip, and the tip might not necessarily reflect the service that they got. Yeah, that's where people are a bit upset, man. But like I said, man, Aaron, I appreciate you not only what you do, but I appreciate you writing in, man. I hope to hear from you again soon, brother. Real talk. We got another comment here. This comes from Reggie. Reggie writes in and say, hey, Spann, that jersey is fire. Appreciate you, brother. He said, I never really took you for a hockey fan, but that Maple Leaf sweater is a classic. Hey, man, I've never been a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. I just like the jersey, bro. I just like the jersey, but I appreciate you appreciating the jersey, man. Anyway, I hate to keep hitting you with the questions about Biden, but I do appreciate that you at least have some facts behind your support of him. That being said, what do you think of the current polling that shows Biden could lose the presidential election if it was held today? And what do you think of the vast number of people whose biggest concern about Biden is his age and whether or not he would actually live through a second term? Appreciate the podcast and can't wait to hear your response. Thanks. Appreciate you, Reggie, for writing in, man. So here's my thing. When it comes to whether or not Joe Biden should be able to win a second term, man, we knew that Joe Biden was an old motherfucker when we voted for him in 2020. Like, real talk. We knew what that was. The other part about it is this. This isn't necessarily about Joe Biden. This has everything to do with people being scared of the fact that, like, Kamala Harris is vice president and she stands to be the heir apparent should Joe Biden, should anything happen to Joe Biden, should Joe Biden die while he's in office, unfortunately, let's say Joe Biden wins in 2024, people are looking for Kamala Harris again to be the heir apparent because she is the vice president of the United States. She's number 2 in the Democratic Party. So when people are talking about, they don't necessarily know if they want to vote for Joe Biden, what they're really saying in a lot of indirect terms is, hey, I don't know if I'm willing to cast a vote for Kamala Harris, right? And part of that has been, and much of this has been, a thing that the Republican Party has kind of like put into the ether, and unfortunately too many left-wing leaning outlets have kind of taken on that talking point and amplified it to some degree, right? Because think about this, man. Like, Kamala Harris, when you saw her in the Senate, she was eating a lot. Like, when they were going through, like, whether it be the confirmation hearings for, like, attorney generals, whether it be the confirmation hearings for secretary, I'm not secretary of state, but the Supreme Court, like, Kamala Harris was the one grilling these motherfuckers. So it's not as though she couldn't do that. It's not as though, like, Kamala Harris hasn't been accomplished. It's not as though Kamala Harris hasn't been the first black woman to be attorney general of the state of California. It isn't as though Kamala Harris hasn't been the first black woman to be elected senator from the state of California. It's not as though Kamala Harris hasn't had she doesn't have a resume in politics, right? But there has been a concerted effort to try to marginalize Kamala Harris from the moment that she was selected as Joe Biden's running mate back in 2020, man. There's been a concerted effort to try to marginalize her. And when people talk about whether or not Joe Biden is, he's old. Hey, man, we knew he was old 3 years ago, right? And not only that, Donald Trump is not that much younger than Joe Biden. He's only like 3 or 4 years younger than Joe Biden. And not only that, Joe Biden isn't facing 91 felony fucking counts in court. Joe Biden isn't having his companies almost being dissolved by the state of New York. So the fact that there are people who have this idea that, like, yo, man, we're willing to, like, sit this one out. It's like, I really need folks to understand that if you're willing to sit this motherfucking election out because you think that Joe Biden is too old to be fucking president, I need you to know that if Donald Trump is not, if Donald Trump becomes the president of the United States, you might not necessarily have to worry about voting ever fucking again. And I mean that shit. You might not ever have to worry about voting again because the nigga has told you what he wants to do when he gets in there for a second term. He's already shown you what he wants to do during his first term. He didn't want to fucking leave office the first time after he lost the shit, and he knew he lost it. He knew he lost it. This motherfucker sent a whole group of folk up to the Capitol to try to overturn an election that he knew he fucking lost. He had been priming these people up for months before he lost that election. If I lose this election, it's because it's rigged. He was saying that shit beforehand. He knew he had a chance. That's part of the reason why. Listen, Donald Trump was so scared of running against Joe Biden that he was trying to get an investigation in Ukraine against Joe Biden to drum up dirt against Joe Biden so that he wouldn't have to face him in the election. That's what his first fucking impeachment was about, to try to drum up dirt on Joe Biden. Donald Trump knew. Hell, Donald Trump lost the first fucking election if we're going on sheer numbers, man, like more people voted for Hillary Clinton than they voted for Donald Trump. So I need y'all to understand, like, yeah, Joe Biden's old, right? Joe Biden's old. He was old when we elected him in 2020. But the vast majority of the pushback on Joe Biden being the nominee in 2024 isn't necessarily about Joe Biden. It's about Kamala Harris and whether or not Kamala Harris should be the heir apparent in the Democratic Party in 2024 and 2028, right? That's what they're trying to set up. They don't want Kamala Harris to be the next president. You heard it here, man. I'm telling y'all right now. That's what this is. That's what all of this is about. Real talk. But thank you, Reggie, for writing in. And I appreciate you, brother. Hope to hear from you again soon, man. Real talk. Now, we got another story here. This is you know what? I don't know if I really give a shit about this story anymore. So we're not gonna even talk about this, but yeah, fuck that story. We're gonna talk a little sports right now, man. Because I haven't been talking about this. I almost talked about this last week, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna talk about it because I'm not partial, man. Like, I'm not an objective observer of this, man. I'm just not. But we're gonna talk about Jim Harbaugh and Michigan accepting the 3-game suspension that they got from the Big Ten Conference, man. Yeah, man. So for those of you who watch and observe college football, man, the University of Michigan have been a big story in the realm of college football. I want to say around October 9th is when the story broke that supposedly there was an assistant or someone associated with the program who was going ahead to scout other teams to steal their signs, man. They were stealing signs, man. Just yeah, man. And so what happened with that was people were insinuating that the reason why the University of Michigan was even as good as they were was because they had someone going ahead of time to scout these different teams to like break down what their signs meant. And that gave the University of Michigan an unfair advantage in a lot of these football games, right? And a lot of the evidence, so to speak, was circumstantial, right? As I remember, I had been watching ESPN the last few weeks, man. I've watched Stephen A. Smith say some of the most egregious shit. Like Michigan needs to like not be eligible for the college football playoff. You've had other colleges saying like, Michigan State came out and said, it's a player safety issue if they know our plays and like our players are at risk and all this other shit. It's like, first of all, man, like let's keep this a buck. Let's keep this 1,000. People were trying to discredit the University of Michigan and how good their football team has been, especially the last couple years, because over the last couple years, the University of Michigan has been beaten the fuck out of Ohio State. Michigan has also been beaten the fuck out of Michigan State University, two of their biggest rivals, all right? And people were trying to ascribe their being able to do this with the fact that supposedly they were stealing signs. Now, I'm gonna say this, man, and I anybody who's listened to the sound of our voice, if you follow college football, you probably heard this, that the University of Michigan were playing practically tomato cans for the most part of the season, man. Nigga! I'm old enough to remember where people were saying that the University of Michigan was playing nobody, that their strength of schedule was trash, that they shouldn't even be ranked as high as they are because they weren't playing any fucking body, right? This is what they were saying before. You mean to tell me that this team that y'all was saying, this nigga here, you mean to tell me that this team that y'all was saying were playing tomato cans needed an unfair advantage, become the number 2 ranked team in the nation, and to beat all these other teams, right? Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, right? And so Michigan had been hold on, let me pull this nigga. Hold on, man, because we got this nigga Cliff is in the chat. And Cliff is saying that yes, University of Michigan needed these advantages. He's also saying go fuck eyes. Because Cliff as a long time he's a Cubs fan, so we're gonna excuse his mental illness at this moment. But yeah, he says go fuck eyes, and they needed the help to win. We not gonna pay that any motherfucking attention whatsoever. But that's my dog, man. That's my dog. He retarded, but I love him. But nah, man. So I'm old enough to remember when people saying they weren't playing no fucking body. And so the scandal breaks, and they're saying like, yo, Michigan was stealing everybody's signs. And they had an unfair advantage because they were stealing everybody's signs. And here's the thing, right? There's a rule in the NCAA where they say, like, you are not allowed to do advanced scouting, where you're not allowed to send personnel to an advanced game to observe that team before you play them, right? You can get the tape on said team, but you can't actually go to their games to watch that team play another team, right? And the reason why that particular rule is in place is not even so much about there being a competitive advantage. It's about there being teams that can't afford to send advanced scouting to other institutions, right? You think Ohio State isn't sending anybody to like watch a football game? You think that's not happening? You think Auburn or Clemson or Alabama or Florida State or Notre Dame hasn't sent anybody to a game to go watch what they doing? Like, come on, man. Let's be for real. Let's keep it 1,000. You got coaches who are making hundreds of millions of dollars playing, like coaching these fucking colleges, man. The universities, or better yet, not even the university. A lot of your state's highest paid employees are the college football coaches. It ain't your governor. It ain't your attorney general. It damn sure ain't your secretary of state. It's the college football coach who's making the most fucking money in all of these states, right? Now, I say all of this to say that as a Michigan fan, I'm on the thing of this, right? Okay, so say this was the thing, right? Let's just say Michigan is guilty. Again, like I said, I am not an objective observer here, right? But let's just say Michigan is guilty. So, when they beat the shit out of Penn State and ran that ball 32 times in a row, did that have anything to do with the fact that Michigan supposedly had their signs? Right? Did that have anything to do with that? When they beat Michigan State, I mean, Michigan State is like, they were a program in disarray anyway at this particular moment. Did that have anything to do with them having Michigan State's signs? I mean, when they beat Purdue came into that game talking hella shit, before the game and about supposedly Michigan cheating. And y'all had time to change the signs. And Michigan still beat the shit out of y'all. Did it have anything to do with Michigan stealing y'all signs? What are they going to say when Michigan beats the fuck out of the fuck eyes this coming Saturday? Will it be because Michigan had their signs? Because Michigan keeps winning. They keep winning. Right? Now, as I've already said, we gonna grant y'all that there was some misgivings happening within the program, right? And they suspended Jim Harbaugh. The Big Ten suspended Jim Harbaugh 3 games for the end of the season. He is not allowed to coach for the last 3 games of the regular season. He will be allowed to coach in the Big Ten championship game should Michigan go to that Big Ten championship game, and he will be allowed to coach in the college football playoff should Michigan make the college football playoff. But the thing that like the question that I would have, like the biggest thing the biggest issue that Michigan fans and the Michigan program and everything had to do was like, yo, y'all are suspending somebody before y'all actually know everything that happened. Like, when has that ever happened to any program ever? Like, usually when there are sanctions handed down is after y'all have concluded an investigation and y'all have determined something to be wrong to have been done. Y'all haven't concluded any of these things, and yet y'all came down with a suspension. And this is why the University of Michigan and its program was like, yo, man, this is some bullshit and we gonna fight it, right? Now, that was the difference between 1 week ago and this week, right? Now, in this week, we find out that John Harbaugh said, you know what, man, fuck this. We're going to go on ahead. I'm going to accept this 3-game suspension. And, I'm not going to coach against Maryland. I didn't coach against Penn State, and I'm not going to coach the Ohio State game, right? And not only that, there was I forget this guy's name. I think his mentor. He's like a linebackers coach for the University of Michigan. And they fired this dude, right? They fired this dude. And the reason why they fired this dude was because apparently he also had something to do with the sign stealing scheme, right? This doesn't necessarily mean that Jim Harbaugh knew what was going on. But because he is the head of the organization, he should have known what was going on per the rules, right? Which is, to some degree, some bullshit. But I get it and I understand it, right? It's part of the reason why your man Spann became a general in his field of work, right? I don't want to be responsible for the next motherfucker. I'm responsible for what I do. I'm responsible for the work that I did. I put my hands on that. That means I'm responsible for it. I cannot be responsible for what the next motherfuckers out here doing beyond my knowledge, right? They call that shit 200% accountability in my place of work, right? 200% accountability. Like, I'm accountable for this nigga and I didn't even know what the fuck he was over there doing. But that's essentially what they're doing with the University of Michigan with these suspensions and everything else, right? So I'm just going to say this. All the University of Michigan has to do is win out. For those of you who would think they're like, yo, it taints their national championship should they win one, fuck you. For all of you who think that the University of Michigan needed these advantages in order to beat these teams, fuck you, because you're not dealing in reality. They've been beating these teams anyway. They already were beating these. Think about this. When was the last time Purdue beat the University of Michigan at football? I'll wait. When was the last time Michigan State beat the University of Michigan and it wasn't a lucky thing? Don't worry. I'll wait. Hell, even the last time Ohio State beat Michigan, it was on some lucky shit. They've been whooping y'all ass. So I say this, like I said, as a non-objective observer. Y'all see where I'm at, man. Come on. Y'all see where I'm at. Go blue, nigga. Not even just like the team that I big blue in Tennessee State, but also like I grew up rooting for the University of Michigan my entire life. It's going to be that, and that's what it's going to be. But yeah, man, Jim Harbaugh and the University of Michigan, they accepted that 3-game suspension from the Big Ten. We gonna see, because at this point, it's about y'all making excuses for y'all getting y'all asses whooped. Whether that be Michigan State, whether that be Penn State, whether that be Purdue, whether that be Indiana, whether that be Ohio State, any team that loses to the University of Michigan, y'all lost because y'all got y'all asses whooped legitimately. Y'all had time. Y'all have had plenty of time to change those signals at this point. So if y'all still losing, it ain't because they got y'all fucking signals, right? It ain't because of that. They just legitimately whooping y'all ass. And so there we got that going on, man. But I've been wanting to say something about this for the last 2 weeks, nigga. And I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but then I had to talk about it. Shit. So we got that going on, man. But I didn't even need this goddamn story to talk about this story.
Tech billionaire Elon Musk is under fire.
But yeah, man. So if you guys heard that, then y'all know what we want to talk about next. We're going to talk about Elon Musk, man. Elon Musk is in the news because Elon Musk is out here doing silly Elon Musk shit. Let's see what we got here. All right, yeah, let me pull this story up so you guys can watch right along with me. Let me share this with you guys. And let's see what they're talking about when it comes to Elon Musk. Let me add this to the joint. And here we go, y'all. Let's see here.
For spreading anti-Semitic and racist hate to his 160 million followers on X, formerly known as Twitter. Disney is just becoming the latest advertiser to flee the social media platform out of fear that their ads will appear next to hate speech. CBS's Nancy Cordes is at the White House where the Biden administration today condemned the promotion of what it called hideous anti-Semitic lies.
The latest firestorm sparked by Elon Musk on his social media site, X, is now threatening to spread to his other companies, including SpaceX and electric car maker Tesla, as investors openly muse about selling stock. The controversy started Wednesday afternoon when Musk, the world's richest man, liked a post on X that claimed Jewish communities have a, quote, dialectical hatred against whites. You have said the actual truth, Musk responded.
My first reaction was, grow up.
Rabbi Abraham Cooper just met with Musk about anti-Semitism 2 months ago.
I thought was a kind of flippant statement, which I understood immediately would be embraced by anti-Semites and say, hey, Elon Musk is in our camp. He understands us. He gets our pain.
Tech giant IBM pulled its advertising from X, citing the, quote, entirely unacceptable situation. Lionsgate Entertainment followed suit. But this was not Musk's first foray into white nationalist sentiment. In 2018, he suggested that Jews own the press. He has amplified racist memes on his site and reinstated extremist accounts.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
Musk has made no attempt to walk back his latest comments. Linda Yaccarino, the CEO of X, did post that, quote, discrimination by everyone should stop across the board. This morning, even the White House waded in, saying, quote, we condemn this abhorrent promotion of anti-Semitic and racist hate in the strongest terms, which runs against our core values as Americans.
This all comes, of course, against the backdrop of a huge surge in anti-Semitic sentiment across the U.S. In fact, just within the past 24 hours, the Department of Education launched discrimination investigations at 7 schools, including Cornell and Columbia, after receiving complaints about anti-Semitic and Islamophobic incidents. Nora?
That's a big development, Nancy Cordes. Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, man. So it wasn't just like IBM and Lionsgate, but also Apple, Disney. There's a bunch of different companies that have decided that they were going to pull some of their advertising, right? They were going to not necessarily permanently do it, but that they had paused their advertising, which I think is a very key thing. That they said that they were pausing their advertisement. And the reason why I think that the wording that they were pausing it is important is because ultimately this is like a PR stunt for a lot of these companies, right? They're still, as much as people would like to like not necessarily believe it, Twitter or X or whatever the fuck he's calling it now, is still a viable social media platform, right? There are still companies, there are still journalists, there are still sports leagues, there are still a vast number of folk who are continuing to use Twitter or X as their social media service, right? And so as long as there are going to be people who continue to use said service, there are going to be people who want to get their products and their services in front of those eyeballs. So yeah, while people are upset about what Elon Musk said at this particular moment, I need y'all to understand that like these companies who keep saying like, we're going to pause our advertising at the moment. And so long as there are people who are still there, there are going to be companies that are going to advertise there. Right. And so, like I said, I've given up Twitter. Like I haven't really been on Twitter much at all the last few weeks. I've been on Threads. And even with that, like Elon, you know, this isn't like on some virtue signal and shit. Like, Mark Zuckerberg has been like a piece of shit as well. You know what I'm saying? Like you think about the fact that like Facebook or Meta has decided that they are going to allow people to say that the 2020 election was stolen and they're going to use advertisement. They're going to accept advertisement for shit like that. That's fucked up because we know that not to be true, right? But this is about these companies wanting the bread. This is all about a money-making venture for a lot of them. They don't give a fuck about your virtues. They don't give a damn about your values, right? So as long as there are people on all these different like sites, they're going to use use those eyeballs to generate revenue for themselves, right? So I need y'all to understand, like, Apple saying they pulling their advertisement, that's temporary unless folks leave en masse from Twitter or X. Disney, the same thing. Unless people decide to leave en masse, they're going to come back to advertising on Twitter or X whenever the heat dies down off of this shit that Elon Musk has said, right? Now, you've got a bunch of right-wing people who are talking about, hey, man, like, we going to try to fill the void, you know, because we're about standing up for the First Amendment and being able to say what you want to say, this, that, and the other. Like, understand, man, like, if they were so about the First Amendment, they wouldn't be so much about not teaching your kids the true history of this nation. They wouldn't be so much about not teaching your kids about what LGBTQ people are going through in this nation. They wouldn't be so much about, like, not allowing all viewpoints to be somewhat highlighted. They got their picks too, right? So anytime someone says something hateful, you want to say like, yo, you're violating my speech, you're violating my free speech, and I should be able to say this hateful thing about you or about your community and everything else, and you shouldn't be able to bar me from that. Listen, the only people who can guarantee your ability to do that and say that is the government. A private company has no fucking obligation at all to promote your shit. They do not. So this isn't necessarily a First Amendment issue. As much as Elon Musk would try to frame this as that's what this is. This isn't that. This isn't that. You can say that shit if you want to, but then there are repercussions for you saying that shit. And you can't say that the repercussions are a violation of your free speech. No, motherfucker, we are reacting to your speech. You said what you said. Nobody put your ass in jail behind it. People can decide whether or not they want to spend money with you after you said that shit. But nobody's persecuting you. Nobody's putting you in jail. Nobody's like, beating your ass and nothing like that. Although some power, I'm sure somebody probably would want to. Right? But like, yeah, and that's the thing, man. And so, like I said, I've been using Threads lately, right? And one of the things about Threads that I haven't necessarily liked is the amount of virtue signaling that people on Threads have been doing about them leaving Twitter earlier than anybody else, right? Anytime something like this happens on Twitter, the first thing that you'll see a flood of on Threads is like, man, I can't believe anybody is still using Twitter. Why are they still using that? Like, I can't believe that, like, yo, people are still like patronizing Elon Musk in that way. And the first thing that in my head, I'm thinking like, well, shit, they probably cultivated an audience there. They probably, spent a lot of time building up a following there. That's not necessarily that easy to give up. There's still a vast majority of people, especially in these types of spaces, they're still using Twitter. As much as people on Threads would like for you to not be on Twitter, yo, man, there's still folks who are on Twitter. There's a lot of folks on Twitter who I love and like follow and everything else. They're not on Threads yet, right? Or they're not on Threads and posting like that yet, right? However, I'm not going to like act as though I'm somehow better than them simply because I changed the fucking app, right? And there are a lot of people who, despite Elon Musk, they're using Twitter despite him, not necessarily because of him. They're using it in spite of him. Like, yo, you turning this shit into a dumpster fire. However, there's still some redeemable qualities about this place. And I want to continue to use this for that particular purpose. For me personally, it wasn't that anymore. It's like, I don't know if I want to be like, the quality of the interaction for me wasn't that anymore, and that's why I left, right? But yeah, man, I need people to understand, man. Like the advertisers leaving, that's a temporary thing until there's a mass exodus of people who just like, yo, we not fucking with this Twitter shit no more. We not fucking with this X shit no more. And so long as there's still a viable audience of people still there, the advertisement will return. That's just what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, man, we got that going on. Now, our last story, man. I feel like I've been talking for a little while, man. Oh yeah, we've been out here almost, let's say, hour and 40 minutes. But the last story we got here, man, and this has to do with one Cassie and Diddy, man. Cassie and Diddy is in the news. And the reason why Cassie and Diddy are in the news has to deal with the fact that Cassie has accused Sean P. Diddy Combs of sexual assault and abuse while they were in a relationship. Yeah, man. So let me pull this story up. This comes out of the New York Times, and I'm gonna read a bit from this story. It says Sean Combs is accused by Cassie of rape and years of abuse in a lawsuit. It says Sean Combs, a producer and music mogul who has been one of the most famous names in hip hop for decades, was sued in federal court on Thursday by Cassie, an R&B singer once signed to his label, who accused Mr. Combs of rape and of a repeated physical abuse over about a decade. In the suit filed in the Federal District Court of Manhattan, Cassie, whose real name is Cassandra Ventura, and who had long been Mr. Combs' romantic partner, says that not long after she met him in 2005, when she was 19, he began a pattern of control and abuse that included plying her with drugs, beating her, and forcing her to have sex with a succession of male prostitutes while he filmed the encounters. In 2018, the suit says near the end of their relationship, Mr. Combs forced his way into her home and raped her. After years in silence and darkness, Ms. Ventura said in a statement, "I am finally ready to tell my story and to speak up on behalf of myself and for the benefit of other women who face violence and abuse in their relationships." In response, a lawyer for Mr. Combs, Ben Brofman, said Mr. Combs vehemently denied his offensive and outrageous allegations. For the past 6 months, Mr. Combs has been subjected to Ms. Ventura's persistent demand of $30 million under the threat of writing a damaging book about their relationship, which was unequivocally rejected as blatant blackmail. Despite withdrawing her initial threat, Ms. Ventura has now resorted to filing a lawsuit riddled with baseless and outrageous lies, aiming to tarnish Mr. Combs' reputation and seeking a payday. Now, that was the initial story, right? This was the initial story. Now, fast forward to not even a day later, Cassie settles a lawsuit accusing Sean Combs of rape and abuse. And again, we get the story out of the New York Times. It says Sean Combs and the singer Cassie have reached a settlement just one day after she filed an explosive lawsuit accusing the hip-hop mogul of rape and numerous instances of physical abuse. The parties announced on Friday evening that they had reached an agreement to resolve the case, though they disclosed no details about the terms of the settlement. I had decided to resolve this matter amicably on terms that I have some level of control, Cassie, whose full name is Cassandra Ventura, said in a statement. I want to thank my family, fans, and lawyers for their unwavering support. In a statement, Mr. Combs said, "We have decided to resolve this matter amicably. I wish Cassie and her family all the best. Love." For Mr. Combs, the settlement quickly shuts down what could have been a risky and potentially embarrassing process of legal discovery in which reams of evidence are made public and a possible trial. And Ms. Ventura, who has already aired her accusations through a public complaint, avoids a cross-examination by Combs' attorneys. In a lawsuit that drew international attention, Ms. Ventura, who signed to Mr. Combs' Bad Boy label in 2005 when she was 19 and dated him for about a decade, accused Mr. Combs of what she said was years of beatings, controlling behavior, and various forms of sexual abuse, including a rape. In response, a lawyer for Mr. Combs, Ben Brofman, said Mr. Combs vehemently denies these offensive and outrageous allegations. Now, a lot of folks have asked, have talked about this, over the course of the week, man. I haven't really consumed much of anybody else's opinions about this because I feel as though, these are things where we've seen how people react to this before. right? During the time where Bill Cosby was being accused by over 50 women of sexual assault or rape and everything else, we saw the level of people who were coming forward to, defend Bill Cosby and say that, like, yo, these women decided at this point to come forward. What made them wait so long to come forward? And when those sorts of questions come up, it's a way of victimizing, or better yet, blaming the victim for what happened to them, right? Why didn't you speak up before? Like, if this really happened, you should have said so. You should have went straight to the police, this, that, and the other, right? And it's interesting how we continue to kind of fall back into these same patterns when sexual assault cases come up against, or rape cases or abuse cases come up against powerful people. And that, like, the first thing that most folks think is like, yo, this is a money grab, right? Unfortunately, the way the legal system is set up for a lot of sexual assault victims or abuse victims or whatever, unfortunately, the only form of justice that they may even be able to receive would be a financial payment. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth, right? Especially when you consider that, like, yo, there's statute of limitations when it comes to reporting a rape or sexual assault or any sort of abuse. There's a statute of limitation on that. Like, it's not as though it's like there's a case of murder where there is no statute of limitations on murder. Like, if somebody kills you, like, yo, man, 50 years later, that motherfucker can be convicted for for that crime. In a rape or in a rape or sexual assault, not so much, right? So unfortunately, when victims do come forward, man, they're met with doubt by the general public because this is a public figure, and because people love that public figure, they tend to lean in on behalf of the public figure that they come to know and love, despite the fact that we don't know none of these niggas. We don't know none of these motherfuckers. We just don't, right? So unfortunately, for a lot of these people, the only level of justice that they may get is a financial settlement, right? The other part that I think is like kind of weird, and I want y'all to follow me here because it's not the exact same thing, but I need y'all to like kind of just follow me here. So we know that victim blaming is wrong. We know it's wrong, and yet folks continue to do it. And the reason, like, one of the reasons why I know it's wrong, and like I said, I just need y'all to like just kind of follow me here. It's not that these things are not the same, but I just need y'all to follow me. We know that victim blaming is wrong, but we continue to do it. And I'll give you an example. Just a few weeks ago, we were talking about the University of Colorado football team, coached by Deion Sanders, when they were playing against the University of they were playing against UCLA at the Rose Bowl. And while they were playing UCLA at the Rose Bowl, they were robbed of their jewelry while they were playing the game. Somebody broke into their locker room, stole their shit, stole watches, stole chains, stole, money, all this stuff, right? And when it happened to the University of Colorado, there were some people who said, they're like, that's fucked up what was happening to the University of Colorado. But then you had other people, not a whole lot, but you had other people who were saying, well, shit, that's what they get. They was out here, flashing all these Rolexes and Audemars watches and shit. They was out here, these niggas got Rolls Royces in college or whatever else. They got these diamonds or whatever. Like, so, you out here flashing what you got. You out here showing off what you got. What else you think is going to happen? People going to come for your shit, right? And most people would be like, yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, I have these things, but just because I have these things don't mean that, like, I'm supposed to be victimized to the point where, like, you just come and try to take my shit because you don't have the same things that I have, right? We know that's some bullshit. Yo, man, these niggas stole my shit. That's fucked up. And if they stole your shit, you be mad as hell. That's fucked up, right? Now, when we talked about it here on the show, I mean, I mostly was just like, yo, I just needed Deion Sanders to keep that same energy that he had when he was at Jackson State, when his shit got stole, right? Keep that same energy. Don't get around the white folks and start getting humble, nigga. Like, talk that same shit you was talking when you thought it was just us. When you thought you was talking about among black folks. No, keep that same energy, nigga. Keep that same bass in your voice. That's where I came at with it. I still thought what happened to them was fucked up, right? But when a woman comes forward to say that, like, yo, this powerful person took something from me. He took something from me personally. He raped me. He beat me. He abused me. Oftentimes, man, because this powerful person is, you know, we tend to circle the wagons and like give that person the benefit of the doubt. When we really don't have any reason to. Because again, we don't know these niggas. I say this all the time when it comes to like when, like, say for instance, one of the kids of some of these celebrities come out and they speak out against their parents or something like that. And people always like kind of, you know, come at the necks of these kids when they say something like Brian McKnight's kids have come out against him, and people like coming at the kids as opposed to, like, you know, and that's kind of fucked up. Or when was that Kirk Franklin was having a thing with his son. People was coming to the defense of Kirk Franklin. Y'all don't know these niggas, man. We don't know these niggas. So the idea that Cassie comes forward to say, hey, this happened to me, people, for whatever reason, fall into the same familiar pattern to say, well, why did she wait so long to say anything? If she had said something like earlier, would you have believed her then? Like, would you have believed her then? Or would it be the same thing? That she was only out for money. Right? Now, the other part about this is, hey, this nigga took a day. Like one fucking day to settle this case. Right? Let me shut this down right now. I mean, there have been like stories about Puffy, P. Diddy, Brother Love, whatever the fuck he's calling himself today. There have been stories coming about him for years, man. I mean, we've all heard like you know, some of the supposedly, you know, because I don't know for certain, but some of the more unsavory fucking business practices of Sean P. Diddy Combs, man. We've all heard about like how so many artists were unhappy with their compensation after having dealt with Bad Boy for years, man. So it's not as though he's above it, but still in all, people for whatever reason usually look at a woman with a sexual assault or sexual abuse allegation with a bit of suspicion, despite the fact that we don't know these niggas. And I need people to understand this, man. I've been saying this for years, bro, at this point. I need y'all to be very careful with how y'all talk about sexual assault, abuse, and everything. I need y'all to be very careful with how y'all talk about that. Some of y'all are sitting with or around a sexual assault or sexual abuse victim at this very moment while you're listening to me. You may have been around them while you're not listening to me, but you've been around somebody who's been sexually assaulted or sexually abused. And the way you talk about it will color how they view you and also what they reveal to you. Sometimes, and this is something me and my therapist talk about quite often, sometimes you can be destroying emotional and psychological safety around the people that you love without you even knowing it. And the people that you love, whom you think would tell you something, won't tell you because they've listened to how you've talked about certain issues and certain things. They don't feel safe discussing those things around you. So when you come forward in defense of someone accused of sexual assault or sexual abuse, and you don't know these motherfuckers, keep in mind the people that know you are listening. They're listening to everything you saying. And then they also know how to move around you going forward. I need y'all to keep that in mind. But yeah, man, it's about time for me to get on up out of here. I've been running my mouth for quite a bit. But before we get up out of here, I need to remind you guys how to get in touch with me here at this Mrs. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here and responded to here live on the show. You can also hit me up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there, chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Leave us comments on our YouTube videos, man. Those YouTube comments are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime. It's a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mrs. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety, man. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Spotify. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us in that way, man. And I probably already said that. I feel like I just already said that. But yo, man, before we get out of here, like I said, this is before Thanksgiving. So if you're going home, if you're going to be around family, go home, love on your family, be safe, enjoy that meal that your family has prepared for you. Enjoy that time that you get to spend with those folks, because again, this is the time to be thankful for that, right? So I appreciate everybody who's listening to me at this moment. I love y'all. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.